Okay, welcome back to Easy Blender by Mr.Tomato. In this video, we're going to be making some books. So, some requirements before we start. I recommend you know some object mode and edit mode as usual. And if you know some materials, that would be great, because we would have to do some node stuff. So, without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so first I'm gonna open a new file. So file, new, general. And first thing, I'm going to not delete the default cube, and I'm going to scale the cube by X to make it thin. This is gonna be the thickness of our books. So if you want to have a very thick book, you can just make it like scale it on the X thicker. But I'm gonna have a appropriate amount of books. So now this is 1 by 1, so you can scale it on the Z a little bit if you want to adjust it. But if you want to have a 1 by 1 book, then that's up to you. So now we have something about this, we can move it up from the grid. So first thing, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to tab into edit mode and loop cut the book a bunch of times. So Control R and just increase the segment about this much. And if you have like the center, if you have the center that is a face, then select the face. If your center is a line, then select the line. Right now my one is a face at the middle, so I'm just gonna hold it like this and then hold the other one. So now we have both sides. And turn on proportional edit right here, the circle up here, or you can press O and just press G and your whole thing is gonna move. So to fix this, you need to lower the scale. Just scroll your mouse to lower the size of your circle. Then move it on the Y like this. So as you can see, we're making some kind of book curvy thing. But if you don't want your book to have a curve, then that's your option. But I'm gonna go with something like this. Then I'm going to right click shade smooth, and there we go. So now this is just the pages, so we need the cover. So tab into edit mode, select this face, and then drag select this face. So now we have it. So now we right click and extrude faces along normals like this. Now one thing, if you don't see the extrude faces along normals, it's because you're probably not in face select. So make sure you're in face select and right click extrude faces along normals like this. Now nothing matters except for the bottom part, like the size doesn't matter. The left and right, what matters is the thickness of the bottom part, because we will fix the side parts later. So just try to make it the thickness that you want. First we're gonna turn off proportional edit, press O or click here and scale it on the X like this, and there we go. So now we're gonna make this longer than the pages, because right now it's just the same amount. Now if you just want to have your pages the same thickness as your cover, then go ahead, but I don't really recommend you doing that. So we're gonna press Alt right here and select it in a loop like this. Okay, and right click extrude faces along normal, and as you can see, you got some thickness. Okay, so tab out of edit mode and go into material properties, and now we're gonna start to add some materials. So now first thing you might ask, so how are we supposed to do the page? You'll see in a moment here. So first let's just add the color for the cover. So go to material properties right here, it's gonna be a circle, and there should be a material added already since we're using the default cube. I'm gonna go with something red for now, and now for the pages, tab into edit mode and drag select. Now make sure you don't touch any area around here, because we don't want that part to be a page color. So maybe around here, and there we go, that's gonna be our pages. And press the new button right here and press new, and now click assign, and there we go, it's white. Now tab out of edit mode, and you can just call it a day, or if you want to have some strips of like black lines here, you can do that as well. So go to shading, and now you can see here principal BSDF and material output. We're gonna add a wave texture. Shift A, press Shift A, and wave texture, wave texture, right here. So now plug the color of the wave texture into the base color, and there we go. We got our page. Now for some people who have their pages not aligned properly, if you guys have something that looks like this or have something that looks like this, that's because you're selecting the wrong axes right here. So at the wave texture, go in and try changing the from X, Y, or Z. So try changing it and look for the one that makes your book have a strip line kind of like this. Then increase the scale a little bit if you want a lot of pages, or you can lower it if you want a few pages. So I'm just go around 10, I think is pretty good, and go into layout, and then we can start putting it in some like positions. So rotate on the Y 90 degrees, and I'm gonna go into front view, press 1 on the numpad, or you can click here if you don't have a numpad, and press G and Z and move it down till it's on the floor, on the grid like this. Kind of adjust its place till it's on the floor. And if you want multiple books, then we can just duplicate it. So Shift D and then press Z. And if you want to stack them on top of each other, you can just stack them like this. Or if you want to like have it kind of like on top of each other and kind of tilted like in the intro, you can go into side view and move it till around here, rotate it, and try to find a good spot for it. So now then, like, this is good enough, but you can maybe like put it at the corner if you want. So go into top view and move it around here, rotate it on the Z, and kind of put it like this. Now make sure the book's not going into each other, or else that would be weird. And about that, and that should be great. Then now we can change the color for our book. So go to the red color right here, make sure you're in material properties, and you need to press this duplicate button here first. The paper are stacked on top of each other, then you can change it, or else the first book would change as well. So yeah, and now we will add the floor. So Shift A, plane, and scale. Okay, now tab into edit mode and select these two faces, extrude it on the Z and move it up. Now look from camera view, press 0, and I don't really like that the green book is blocking the red book, so I'm just gonna select both of them and maybe rotate it and adjust the place. And now we're gonna add the color for our background. So go to new, and I'm gonna make it brownish, and add another one, new, and I'm just gonna keep it white. So tab into edit mode and select these two faces, select white and assign. So there we go. But now you're saying, hey, but you got like wood floor in the intro. Yes, and if you want to do that, you can go check out my PBR playlist if you want to try, and after you watch that, maybe you can try to implement it to this. So now we're gonna do some lighting. So go into rendered preview like this, and now we're gonna start doing some lighting. So I'm gonna delete this default light and Shift A, add a light, area light, and move it up to the top around here. Look from top view and scale it till it matches the size of our background. So now we got it up here, and adjust the strength to be like 500, and that should be fine. Now it's gonna be dark. Of course it's gonna be dark because we need to add more. So Shift D, Shift X, and kind of rotate it on the X and point it at our book. And this is gonna be our main light, so maybe be like add it to be like 2000, and that should be good. Or maybe you can lower it to like 1000. Let's check this one, that's 500. And since this is a backup light, I'm gonna select the top light, press Shift D, Shift Y, rotate it on the Y, and set this one to like 200. It doesn't need to be that strong. And there we go. So now we're gonna render it. So like I'm gonna make a video of how to render in cycles, so I don't have to do that in literally every single video now. So yeah, but if you want to know how to render in cycles, there are other videos where I did that, so you can go check that out. And right now we're just gonna render in Eevee. So go to render and render image and wait for it to load for a few moments. And there we go, it's just gonna load a picture up like this. And now we can go to image, save as, and name it like book, and go to wherever you want to save your image. I already have a place to save all my renders, and I'm just gonna save it here. And now I can close this. Okay, so that should be it for this video, and I will make the cycles video as soon as possible, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.